right, so we are into section 3.3 on volume and capacity of prisms and cylinders. A couple of things that I will mention here is volume is the object within a space. So if you have a box or a can or a barrel or something like that, it's the space that it takes to fill that item. Now, capacity is how much it can hold. So it might, a lot of the times we'll talk about like how many liters a milk jug can hold or something like that. So capacity is the amount that it can hold, or how many cement bricks can something hold, or you can have it in a bunch of different units. So volume is measured in cubic units or cubed units such as meters cubed, whereas capacity is measured in units such as liters or gallons. I will just make a quick note here that 1,000, and you might want to write this somewhere, 1,000 centimeters cubed is equal to 1 liter. So put that somewhere where you can remember. And if you happen to have your volume figured out in centimeters cubed, what you would do to figure out, so say you've got 5,000 cubic centimeters, if you divide that by 1,000, well, that's equal to 5 liters. Okay, so it's just a quick calculation of dividing it by 1,000 to figure out how many liters something is. So again, I'm not going to go through all the examples that are already done for you, even though I get it, they get a little complicated overdoing it, but I will just stick to a couple of examples in the Build Your Skills. So I'm going to turn my page to 172, and I'm going to talk about this example 3. So if we have a rectangular prism, a few other things that I should have mentioned there is your volume is always the area of your base times your height. So if you have a rectangle base, it's just length times width, then times your height. And if you happen to have like a cylinder which has a circle bottom, it's going to be pi r squared times height. Or if you happen to have a triangular type base, then it's that triangle times height for right triangular prisms. Pyramids and cones and spheres have a little bit of a difference, with especially like the pyramids and cones, which we will get to. They're always like divisible by 3. Okay, so we'll get into this question. It does say one rectangular prism has dimensions 18 centimeters by 12 centimeters by 32 centimeters. It doesn't matter which one, if it's a rectangular prism, which one's your base. Okay, a second prism has a base that is 14 by 20. What is the approximate height so that it has the same volume as the first? So if I calculate my volume of my first one, I'm going to go length times width times height. Just like that. Do my calculation, I got 6,912 centimeters cubed. Okay, now the second one here, I know my base, actually, we're just going to change that. We know my base is 14 times 20, but then you times that by h. H I don't know, that's what I'm trying to find out. But I do know my volume has to equal that 6,912. So 6,912. So that's where my volume goes. Now, I want to do some calculations and try to isolate that h. So if I multiply the 14 and the 20, I get 280 times h. Now, we know when we solve equations, we have to do opposite or inverse operations. So in this case, if this is multiplied, the opposite of that is to divide both sides by 280. leaving me with just h is equal to my approximate height. And it's going to go down to singular units because this is not a volume calculation, this is your height calculation. So you're going to see questions like this where we might be looking for a variable that's within the formula that we're used to finding. So if that's the case, then you could put it equal to that value. Okay, moving on. They do this example for you, so I'm going to jump ahead, and it's just a matter of breaking things up. So then you're just adding their shapes together, their volumes together. So if I look at 6, so put that into the image there. If I'm looking at 6, I can split this a number of different ways. I can split it by just making a line here and a line here, and then adding that together, the 11 and the 12. No, sorry, the 11 and the 8. And getting a height. I've still got the depth of 12. And I also have, I can find out this measurement as well by going 30, take away 9, and 9. I can also cut it this way. And then I've got 2 boxes on top of each other, 2 rectangular prisms on top of each other that I later add. If that's the case, this is 11 by 12. And then my height, no, I got my height 11. And then my bottom here, which is also there, the base is 30. Take away both those 9s, which that's 18. Take away 18 is 12. So this is also 12. So my volume of that is going to be 12 times 12 times 11. And I get 1,584. Now if I want the volume of the bottom part, so my bottom is going to be 8 by 30. Sorry. Switch that back. 8 by 30 by my depth, the 12. Which I get 2,880. Now I can go ahead and add those two together. $4,464. This was in meters cubed. And that is that one. Okay, we will see one more. Okay, so it just talks about cylinders here. So volume formula for a cylinder, we know that the area of a circle was pi r squared. So therefore my volume for a cylinder is just pi r squared times h. Oh, and it's right there. Okay. So not a bad idea to just record some of these formulas, and then you're not having to always look back to look them up. It's a handy little sheet to have. Okay, I'm just gonna do number 8, and it says that it wants you to figure out volume and capacity. Okay, so we need to find volume in centimeters cubed as well as capacity in liters. So my diameter is 15 centimeters. So my radius is half of that. So divide it by 2. I get 7.5 centimeters. And then my height is 36. So using my volume is equal to pi times radius squared times h. Pi times the 7.5 squared times 36. When I type this into my calculator, I really like to make sure I'm going 7.5 squared before I multiply by a pi and before I multiply by 36. Because if I square at the end, then I'm squaring the whole thing. So I want to make sure that I'm just squaring this number here. And when I do the full calculation, I get 6,361.7 centimeters cubed. So that is my volume. Now, capacity is going to be that value divided by 1,000, because I know that 1,000, I said this earlier in the video, 1,000 centimeters cubed is equal to 1 liter. So that's why I divide by 1,000, and I get 6.36 liters. Okay, the rest is just practice your skills, which I will leave for you to do, and I will catch you on the next video.